After 11 seasons of brotherhood, camaraderie, and mutual respect on ice road truckers, the show's most beloved veteran has broken his silence. Alex Debogorski, the philosophical farmer trucker who became television's most quotable ice road legend, has finally named names. But why now? And what really went down behind the cameras when the trucks stopped rolling and the production crews went home? For years, fans believed they were watching genuine bonds forged in the crucible of Canada's most unforgiving wilderness. The reality, as we're about to discover, was far more complex. Behind the carefully edited scenes of mutual support and shared hardship lay a web of professional jealousy, personal vendettas, and ego-driven conflicts that would have made for compelling television in their own right, if the cameras had been allowed to capture them. We're about to uncover the feuds, the egos, and the personal vendettas that turned television's most dangerous workplace into an emotional minefield. The answers might surprise you, and they definitely won't make everyone happy. This isn't just another reality TV expose. It's a masterclass in how fame can corrupt even the most authentic blue-collar communities, told by the one man who never let success change his fundamental character. It's 2007, and the History Channel is about to launch a reality show unlike anything television has ever seen. Ice road truckers would follow real drivers hauling essential supplies across frozen lakes, rivers, and wilderness roads in Canada's Northwest Territories and Alaska. The concept was pure television gold: life or death stakes, million-dollar cargo, and drivers who could disappear through thin ice at any moment. At the heart of this frozen empire stood Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, population 20,000, where temperatures plummet to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit and daylight vanishes for months. This became base camp for a show that would run 11 seasons, spawn 3 international versions, and turn ordinary truck drivers into household names. The ice roads themselves, temporary highways that exist only during the harshest winter months, served as the ultimate proving ground where skill, courage, and sheer stubbornness separated legends from cautionary tales. The logistics alone were staggering. Each season required coordinating dozens of massive trucks, monitoring ice thickness across hundreds of miles of frozen waterways, and maintaining communication systems in regions where cell towers were as rare as summer days. Production crews had to be prepared for everything from equipment failures in sub-zero temperatures to genuine life-threatening emergencies that could strand drivers for days in conditions that would kill unprepared civilians within hours. Alex Debogorski emerged as the show's philosophical anchor from day one. A deeply religious family man who farmed potatoes and raised 13 children when he wasn't hauling loads across frozen tundra. Alex brought gravitas to a genre typically dominated by manufactured drama. His folksy wisdom, delivered in a distinctly Canadian cadence, made him the show's most quotable personality. "The ice road doesn't care about your problems," became his signature philosophy. "It only cares whether you respect it or not." What made Alex unique wasn't just his decades of experience or his ability to articulate the spiritual dimensions of dangerous work. It was his unwavering commitment to treating ice road trucking as a calling rather than just a job. While other drivers saw the television opportunity as a pathway to fame and fortune, Alex approached it as a chance to educate viewers about the values that kept blue-collar communities functional: respect, humility, mutual aid, and the understanding that individual success meant nothing if it came at the expense of collective safety. But beneath the surface of this brotherly trucker paradise, tensions simmered. Million-dollar contracts were on the line. Egos clashed. Production pressures mounted. And some drivers discovered that reality television success came with a price tag that extended far beyond frozen paychecks. The ice road might not have cared about personal problems, but the truckers certainly cared about each other's, sometimes in ways that would fracture relationships permanently. The transformation was gradual but unmistakable. During the first few seasons, drivers genuinely looked out for each other, sharing crucial information about ice conditions, mechanical problems, and route hazards. By the middle seasons, however, some cast members had begun viewing their colleagues as competition rather than collaborators. Information became currency, and helping a fellow driver might mean diminishing your own screen time or storyline prominence. By the time the show wrapped its final season in 2017, Alex had worked alongside dozens of drivers, mechanics, and road supervisors. Most earned his respect. A select few earned his friendship. But 5 drivers, according to Alex's recent revelations, earned something else entirely: his disdain. And after years of diplomatic silence, he's finally ready to explain why. Television audiences fell in love with the Ice Road Truckers mythology, a band of brothers united against nature's fury, where personal differences dissolved under the pressure of shared survival. The show's editing carefully cultivated this narrative, highlighting moments of mutual support while downplaying the personality clashes that inevitably erupted when alpha personalities competed for screen time, lucrative contracts, and fan adoration. Behind the carefully constructed brotherhood, however, a different dynamic was taking shape. Sources close to production revealed that certain drivers began treating Ice Road Truckers less like a documentary and more like an audition for bigger opportunities. Some allegedly negotiated private appearance deals, demanded special treatment from producers, or openly campaigned for more prominent storylines. The transformation from working truckers to television personalities created a hierarchy that hadn't existed in the real Ice Road community. The editing process itself became a source of contention. While early seasons had focused on the collective challenge of completing deliveries safely, later seasons began emphasizing individual storylines and manufactured rivalries. Drivers who had initially been content with modest screen time started demanding equal treatment, leading to negotiations that resembled Hollywood contract disputes more than blue-collar work arrangements. Alex Debogorski watched this evolution with growing frustration. As someone who had driven ice roads for decades before cameras arrived, he reportedly felt that some newcomers prioritized fame over the fundamental respect and professionalism that kept drivers alive in subarctic conditions. Multiple crew members have confirmed that Alex became increasingly vocal about what he saw as showboating behavior that compromised both workplace safety and the authentic spirit that made the show compelling in the first place. The safety concerns were particularly serious. Ice road trucking requires constant communication and mutual support. Drivers share information about ice thickness, weather conditions, and mechanical issues that can mean the difference between life and death. When some cast members began withholding information or creating artificial drama around genuine safety situations, they crossed a line that Alex found unforgivable. The philosophical farmer who preached about honor and integrity was watching colleagues abandon both principles for the sake of entertainment value. Contract negotiations became another flashpoint. While Alex maintained his day job farming and approached the show as supplemental income, other drivers allegedly began making demands that reflected their new celebrity status. Reports suggest that some drivers refused to participate in certain activities unless their compensation packages were adjusted, creating production delays and tensions with both the network and fellow cast members who were still operating under their original agreements. The most damaging dynamic, according to multiple sources, was the way some drivers began actively undermining their colleagues' relationships with producers and network executives. Instead of supporting each other's success, certain cast members allegedly spread negative information about their colleagues' reliability, professionalism, or viewer appeal. This backstabbing behavior transformed what had been a genuine workplace community into something resembling a corporate environment where advancement came at the expense of coworker relationships. The breaking point, according to multiple sources, came when certain drivers began publicly criticizing the show's authenticity, while simultaneously benefiting from its success. Alex, whose reputation in the trucking community predated television by decades, reportedly found this hypocrisy particularly galling. The philosophical farmer who had spent years preaching about honor and integrity was watching some colleagues abandon both in pursuit of television stardom. Number 5. Rick Yem. Rick Yem joined the cast as a veteran trucker with over 3 decades of experience, initially presenting himself as another blue-collar professional, ready to take on the ice road's ultimate challenge. His credentials were legitimate. He had extensive experience with heavy hauling and had worked in challenging conditions throughout his career. What wasn't immediately apparent was how quickly he would adapt to the celebrity aspects of reality television, and not in positive ways. According to multiple production sources and Alex's recent statements, Yem allegedly began making increasingly elaborate demands once he recognized the show's potential for career advancement. Unlike other drivers who maintained their focus on the actual work, Yem reportedly became obsessed with his television image and the opportunities it might create for future projects. Reports indicate that Yem requested private accommodations separate from other drivers, despite the fact that shared lodging had always been part of the ice road experience. He demanded specific camera angles that would highlight his driving skills while minimizing any footage that might show him struggling with unfamiliar equipment or conditions. Most problematically, he allegedly refused to participate in group meals or downtime activities that were being filmed for the show's more personal moments, claiming that these interactions weren't professional enough for his image. The situation reportedly reached a breaking point during Season 3 filming when Yem allegedly walked off set during a critical delivery sequence, citing unprofessional working conditions that other drivers found perfectly acceptable. Sources suggest that his real complaint was that he wasn't being featured prominently enough in that particular episode's storyline, and his walkout was an attempt to force producers to renegotiate his role. Yem's alleged behavior created scheduling conflicts that cost production both time and money, while alienating him from other cast members who were still operating under the original show concept. His demands for special treatment undermined the egalitarian spirit that had characterized the show's early seasons, and his willingness to abandon his responsibilities during critical deliveries violated the mutual dependability that kept the ice road community functional. His departure from the series, after limited appearances, eliminated what could have been a compelling long-term character arc, and Alex has suggested that Yem's attitude contributed to a shift in how producers approached casting decisions for future seasons. The network began implementing more detailed contract language about professional behavior and commitment levels, partly in response to the disruptions Yem had created. Number 4. Todd Dewey. Todd Dewey arrived as an ambitious newcomer eager to prove himself against ice road truckers' established veterans, but his inexperience extended beyond just driving skills. While he had legitimate trucking experience in other environments, the unique challenges of ice road work required a humility and willingness to learn that Dewey apparently lacked. Multiple cast members, including Alex, have described Dewey as someone who compensated for his rookie status by talking excessively about his capabilities while demonstrating questionable judgment on the actual ice roads. Rather than acknowledging his need to learn from more experienced drivers, Dewey allegedly positioned himself as someone bringing fresh perspectives to outdated practices. Alex has specifically mentioned instances where Dewey allegedly ignored safety protocols established by more experienced drivers, then attempted to justify his actions by claiming that veteran truckers were stuck in old-school thinking. This attitude was particularly dangerous in an environment where established procedures had been developed through decades of hard-won experience and literally kept drivers alive in conditions that could kill within minutes. The tension escalated during a Season 4 incident where Dewey reportedly blamed equipment failure for a delivery delay that other drivers attributed to his inexperience with ice road conditions. According to multiple sources, the equipment was functioning properly, but Dewey had failed to adjust his driving technique for the specific challenges of maintaining traction on ice while carrying a full load. Rather than accepting responsibility for his learning curve, he allegedly attempted to shift blame to mechanical issues. Alex allegedly confronted Dewey directly about undermining team safety, leading to a heated exchange that required production intervention. The confrontation reportedly occurred after Dewey had ignored radio communications about dangerous ice conditions ahead, forcing other drivers to take risks to provide backup support when his truck became stranded. Dewey's alleged behavior created a mentorship crisis where veteran drivers became reluctant to share critical safety knowledge with someone who seemed more interested in camera time than survival skills. His attitude disrupted the traditional learning process, where experienced drivers gradually shared their knowledge with newcomers who demonstrated appropriate respect and humility. His limited tenure on the show reflected both his inability to adapt to the ice road community's established hierarchy and the other drivers' unwillingness to continue working with someone they considered a liability. The incident also contributed to increased tension between production staff and cast members, as producers had to balance the need for compelling television with genuine safety concerns. Number 3. Dave Redman. Dave Redman entered the ice road truckers world as a seasoned driver with legitimate credentials, but his priorities allegedly shifted dramatically once he recognized the financial opportunities that television fame could provide. Unlike drivers who viewed the show as an extension of their existing careers, Redman apparently saw it as a launching pad for much more lucrative ventures. According to Alex, and confirmed by multiple production sources, Redman began aggressively pursuing commercial opportunities outside the show while still under contract, including unauthorized appearance deals and merchandise arrangements that violated his agreement with the network. His approach was reportedly systematic and calculating, as he attempted to leverage his television exposure into multiple revenue streams. The situation reportedly came to a head when Redman allegedly attempted to negotiate a spin-off show featuring himself as the central character, despite having significantly less experience and fan recognition than established cast members like Alex. Sources suggest that Redman's proposal involved recruiting other ice road truckers cast members for his competing series, effectively poaching talent from the show that had made his celebrity possible. Alex has described feeling betrayed by Redman's alleged attempts to leverage relationships built through the show for personal financial gain. The philosophical farmer who valued loyalty and mutual support found Redman's scheming particularly offensive because it violated the trust that made dangerous collaborative work possible. When colleagues become competitors plotting against each other's success, the foundation of workplace safety crumbles. The situation became even more complicated when Redman reportedly tried to recruit other drivers for his proposed competing series, creating divisions within the cast and forcing people to choose between personal loyalty and professional opportunities. This behavior transformed workplace relationships into a complex web of competing interests that made authentic collaboration nearly impossible. Redman's alleged scheming created legal complications that required network intervention and damaged his relationships with cast members who felt he was prioritizing money over the loyalty and mutual support that characterized the ice road community. His pursuit of individual financial gain at the expense of collective relationships represented everything that Alex found most troubling about how television success could corrupt authentic blue-collar values. His departure from the show eliminated what had initially been a promising addition to the cast. And Alex has suggested that Redman's behavior contributed to increased contract restrictions for future cast members. The network began implementing more stringent non-compete clauses and exclusivity requirements, partly in response to the complications that Redman's outside ventures had created. What this actually shows is how the pursuit of money can destroy the integrity and relationships that make dangerous work survivable. Redmond's transformation from trusted colleague to scheming competitor illustrates the corrupting influence of fame on people who lose sight of the values that brought them success in the first place. Hugh Rowland. Hugh Rowland served as one of Ice Road Truckers' central figures from the beginning, initially earning respect as a skilled driver and natural television personality who seemed to embody the show's core values. His prominence in early seasons made his subsequent behavior particularly shocking to colleagues who had trusted him as a leader and friend. According to Alex's recent revelations, Rowland's transformation from respected colleague to primary antagonist occurred gradually as he began prioritizing his individual success over the collective welfare of the cast. What made his behavior particularly damaging was that it violated the trust and friendship that had developed during the show's early seasons. Alex has specifically cited Rowland's alleged attempts to undermine other drivers' relationships with producers, including spreading negative information about colleagues' performance and reliability. Rather than supporting his fellow cast members' success, Rowland reportedly began viewing them as obstacles to his own advancement and actively worked to diminish their roles in the show. The situation allegedly reached its nadir when Rowland reportedly attempted to have Alex removed from the show by claiming that his religious views and family-focused lifestyle made him boring television. This attack was particularly personal because it targeted the very qualities that had made Alex beloved by fans and respected by colleagues. Multiple sources confirmed that Rowland lobbied production staff to reduce Alex's role while expanding his own, despite Alex's superior experience and fan popularity. Alex has described Rowland's behavior as calculating backstabbing that violated every principle of loyalty and mutual support that the Ice Road community had always represented. The betrayal was especially painful because it came from someone whom Alex had initially considered a friend and ally, someone he had trusted with both personal confidences and professional responsibilities. The manipulation reportedly extended to Rowland's attempts to turn other cast members against each other, creating an atmosphere of suspicion and competition that undermined the collaborative relationships that had made the show's early seasons so compelling. Instead of the genuine camaraderie that viewers loved, Rowland allegedly fostered an environment where drivers felt compelled to protect themselves from colleagues' ambitions. Rowland's alleged betrayal created lasting divisions within the cast and fundamentally altered the show's internal dynamics, transforming what had been a genuine brotherhood into a competitive environment where drivers felt compelled to protect themselves from colleagues' ambitions. The damage to trust. Relationships extended beyond individual conflicts to affect the entire cast's willingness to be vulnerable and authentic on camera. Alex has stated that Rowland's behavior contributed to his own eventual decision to limit his participation in later seasons, feeling that the show had become too toxic to represent his values authentically. The philosophical farmer who had initially embraced the opportunity to share his wisdom with viewers found himself unwilling to continue participating in an environment that had become fundamentally dishonest about its own values. So what really drove Alex Debogorski to finally break his silence about these 5 contentious relationships? The answer lies in a combination of factors that have been building pressure for years since the show's conclusion. First, Alex's reputation within the trucking community has continued to grow, making him increasingly protective of the authentic values that Ice Road Truckers originally represented. As other reality shows have faced criticism for manufactured drama and artificial conflicts, Alex has positioned himself as someone who refuses to compromise his integrity for entertainment value. His recent willingness to name names reflects his desire to set the record straight about what really happened behind the cameras, particularly for fans who believed in the brotherhood mythology that the show promoted. Second, several of the drivers mentioned have made public statements about their ice road truckers experience that Alex considers either inaccurate or self-serving. Rather than allow these narratives to stand unchallenged, Alex has chosen to provide his own perspective, even though it means acknowledging that the show's family atmosphere was more complicated than viewers realized. The deeper truth, however, is that Alex's revelations reflect a fundamental tension between authentic blue-collar values and the corrupting influence of television fame. Each of the 5 drivers he couldn't stand represents a different way that reality television success can compromise the principles that keep dangerous work communities functional, whether through prima donna behavior, rookie arrogance, money-chasing schemes, attention-seeking dramatics, or outright betrayal. These individuals allegedly chose personal advancement over the collective welfare that makes ice road trucking survivable. Alex Debogorski's decision to name the 5 ice road truckers he couldn't stand reveals something crucial about the intersection of authentic blue-collar work and television entertainment. The drivers who earned his disdain all share a common failing. They allowed the opportunity for fame and money to override the fundamental values of respect, safety, and mutual support that keep dangerous work communities functional. The real lesson here isn't about personality conflicts or behind-the-scenes drama. It's about the importance of maintaining your principles when external pressures tempt you to abandon them. Alex's revelations remind us that integrity isn't negotiable. Whether you're hauling freight across frozen lakes or navigating the complexities of reality television stardom, the ice road doesn't care about your problems, but it demands that you care about doing right by the people whose lives depend on your character.